Hey everyone, welcome back to the Maker's Gonna Learn YouTube channel. My name is Alicia and today I want to show you all the best and only way to make your Cricut labels in 2023. So over the years, we have experimented with so many different types of printable vinyl, sticker paper, you name it. And we feel like we have come to a head and we know exactly the best way for you all to make labels with your Cricut. Not only are you making beautiful labels, but we're going to make those waterproof today. So I'm gonna be showing you all a really fun hack on how to make your stickers truly waterproof. I've also got a couple other tricks up my sleeve using some of the Maker's Gonna Learn files. So if you all are ready to get started, let's jump right into it. So you're not gonna need too many materials for the project today. I want to talk to you all though about which products are going to work best for exactly what you need. So we're gonna be designing some labels that you're probably gonna generally want to be waterproof, things such as soap, detergent, lotion, things that may get product on them that we don't necessarily want the ink to bleed. So we've experimented, like I said, we've experimented with a few different kinds, and I want to show you all which ones are our favorite. So as you can see here, we've made this beautiful label. These are available on the Maker's Gonna Learn website. I'm gonna show you all how to customize them completely so you can adjust them to whatever you need. But this is totally waterproof. And I'm gonna give you all a few different options depending on your needs and what's gonna work best for you. So you're just gonna need whatever you're gonna be applying your label to. I've got some rubbing alcohol to clean my surface, a brayer I like to have on hand when I'm making stickers just in general. And then I've obviously got a mat under here. Now you can use a light grip mat, standard grip. Either one of those is gonna work. I like light grip mat when I'm working with paper products. It just works better for me. And then right in front of me, I have 3 different types of sticker paper. So let's go ahead and talk about these 2 right here. These are ones that we use a lot here at Maker's Gonna Learn. The brand is Zakoto and they are available on Amazon, and I've linked them below for you all. So if you see that you like these a lot more, you are gonna be able to use these. They come in a glossy and a matte. The matte is beautiful. Like, I really, really love the vibe of the matte. It's great for items that are probably gonna go in your pantry, like if you wanted to make labels for your flour or your oatmeal or something like that. If you really like the look of matte, I'm gonna show you all a little hack on how to make your stickers matte as well as waterproof in this video, which is gonna be my favorite thing to show you all because I really, truly love the look of a matte label or a matte sticker. I just think it looks rich, it looks good. But you know, everyone has their personal preferences, and I do have a glossy option as well. These look beautiful. I actually put a glossy one on this. So this is like my second favorite option as in terms of waterproofness, but they work really great for labels all across the board, not just waterproof stickers. So I'm gonna be showing you how to use those. And then another brand that we really, really love for sticker paper is the HTV Ront printable vinyl sticker paper. So this one is for inkjet and laser printers, and it is glossy white. We love this one. And then the last material that I have, and this is my favorite hack for when we are creating waterproof stickers. This is the matte UV laminate for inkjet printable adhesive vinyl. So it's a mouthful, but these are so handy to have because a lot of times the things that we're labeling are household items. That can be cleaners, things like that. So this is gonna be super handy in making our labels look super high end, as if we bought them from the store, but we really made them ourselves. So other than all of this stuff, you're just gonna need an inkjet printer. So I've got our Canon Pixma inkjet printer here. The Canon TS9500 is also another favorite here in the studio. I've got some paper towels to have on hand just in case. And then obviously I have our Cricut over here. So we're gonna go ahead and jump into Design Space and start designing the labels that we want. And then we're gonna dive a little bit deeper into the materials and how to use them afterwards. So over here in Design Space, you can see I have already pulled in the files that we're going to be using off of the Maker's Gonna Learn website. So the first one is one of our pre-made ones. So you'll see on makersgonnalearn.com, we have different options such as hand lotion, detergent, different things like that. You can go ahead and just pull those in and print them off, which makes it super, super easy for you all. I want to say that I call it a hack because it's so easy and it really just takes out all of the work, and you're going to be able to label all of your items a lot quicker. And then we also have this option right here where you can pick a font. It can be any word. If you have soap or lotion or whatever you want to put, can go here. And then we have the totally blank option. So you can fill this in with any fonts that you prefer. Maybe the fonts that we chose aren't your taste. That's totally fine. Maker's Gonna Learn offers thousands of fonts for you all to choose from. So you're gonna have lots of options here. So let's go ahead and plug in what we want on each of these labels. I'm just gonna leave this one here and we'll print it out just so I can show you all what the already made ones are gonna look like. And then I think what we need to do is go ahead and pick out a font for this one and this one. So let's go on over to the Maker's Gonna Learn website and do that now. So once you're on the font page, obviously we have thousands of fonts for you all to use, lots of different vibes. I love this Groovy Cowgirl. So y'all just browse through, find a font that you think is gonna work best for you. Let's go ahead and use Little Lovey today. I think this will be perfect for what we're doing. I'm going to double click the zip folder and it's gonna pull it over here, and then we can just select install. We're gonna also need a script font. So now that we've got Little Lovey downloaded, I want to add a script with this, and I've already got a font in mind. It's called Betty B. This is a Maker's Gonna Learn font. I am obsessed with this font. I'm gonna use this for my script portion right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and type this out. Now, I don't know that this is a font that I would actually cut if I was doing vinyl, but it works beautifully whenever we are wanting to use it for printing purposes. So I'm just gonna kind of shrink this down. And this really is just to fit the aesthetic of what we're going for. I'm gonna zoom in here so you all can see better. Okay. And now we can go ahead and type in what we want right here. So I'm gonna type in hand soap. And you can see, obviously it's way too big. I'm gonna change it to our Little Lovey font that we downloaded. And then I'm just going to shrink this down. So I changed it to all caps. I'm gonna space my letters out just a hair because I feel like adding some space in between the letters kind of elevates this project. So I'm just putting a little bit of space in between. I did 2-point space in between the letters. I think that looks super cute. I love it. I am gonna make sure these are solid black. Now you could change the colors to whatever your heart desires for this portion. I really like the look of the black and white labels. I just think it looks super sleek. So I'm gonna stick with that. And then I want to go ahead and add in premium quality and hand poured. And I'm going to use this Lovey font for this portion as well. So I'm just going to duplicate this. And I'm going to add a dash, hand poured, and another dash. And then you can shrink it down. And I'm going to zoom in so we can really see what we're doing here. And then up here, you can see this curve option. I'm just gonna drag this barely. And I'm gonna shrink this down, and y'all can piddle around and get it to exactly where you want it. I'm actually gonna add a little bit more letter spacing here and see how I feel about that. Oh yeah, I think that that looks really good. So I'm gonna leave that there. And then I'm going to select this and duplicate it again, and we're going to add in premium and quality at the bottom here. And I'm changing the letter spacing to 4 again. I'm going to duplicate this. And like I said at the beginning of the video, you can totally just use the ones that we already have, but if your decor is a little bit of a different vibe, or if you prefer certain fonts, feel free to design your own. I feel like that's the beauty in having a Cricut. You're going to be able to customize everything that you make. So I'm selecting both of those, and I am going to align it vertically. This is going to make them perfectly in line with each other. And then if you wanted to, you can select these text boxes. I'm going to select this one, the hand soap, and the hand poured. I'm just holding down the shift key and clicking on each text box. And I'm going to go to align and center horizontally, and that's going to make them perfectly centered. So I really like how this looks, but we can't just go ahead and print this off and cut it and all that. We've got a couple steps in between. So now that I've designed it exactly how I want it, what I'm going to do is click and drag, and I'm going to flatten my image. This is going to turn my SVG image into a printable image. Now I'm going to undo it because I want to show you all where you can really see that it changes. So if I selected hand soap, right now up here in the operations drop down menu, you can see that it says basic cut. So if I went to cut this, it's going to cut out every single individual letter, and we do not want that. So in order to prevent that from happening, I'm just going to make sure everything in my image is selected together, and I'm going to flatten that image. And now you can see that we've got it on one solid layer, and its function is print then cut. So this one is ready to go. If I wanted to go ahead and plug something in over here, I totally could. And then I would just do the same thing. Select the entire image, flatten it, and then we're going to print it and cut it. Now these images right here that are already on the Makers Gonna Learn website, these will download as PNGs. So if it comes in and you download it as a PNG, it's already going to be a printable image. So if you wanted to double check whenever you pull it into Design Space, you can always click and drag and make sure that it says print and then cut up here, or it says print and then cut in the layers panel. That's how you know that it is ready to be printed and then cut with your Cricut. So before I actually cut this with the Cricut, I want to make sure that I'm measuring everything correctly. So I'm going to measure the area that I want to put my sticker. So I'm just going to make sure that it's not too big. And I think if we put it about 3 by no bigger than 3.5, that's going to be perfect for us. So back in Design Space, we can make sure that our image, when we click on it, is no bigger than 3 by 3.5. So right now we're at 2.5 by 3, and I think that's actually going to be perfect. So we'll stick with that, and we're going to go ahead and make it. So we're going to send to printer, turn the bleed off, and we are using the system dialog. This is my favorite way to print. I'm going to select print, and we are going to be using the rear tray. Whenever I use thicker materials like sticker paper or heavy cardstock, I love to use the rear tray so that my paper does not get jammed. Now, if you don't have a rear tray feed, that's totally fine. Sticker paper usually works fine with the inkjet printers just through the normal tray, but I prefer the rear tray. I always select best, so we're getting the best quality print every time. And I'm going to go ahead and send this to the printer. So I could technically print this on any of these vinyl sticker sheets. So let's just, for the sake of me showing you all the difference between glossy versus matte, I'm going to print this on the HT Vront Glossy. Just going to pull one sheet of this out. Okay. And I'm going to print this first, and then we're going to apply our matte laminate sheet on top of it. So I've got my printed out sheet here. What I'm going to do before I cut this, so I'm going to go ahead and clean the surface of my bottle. I'm going to let that dry while the Cricut is cutting. We want to make sure there's no oils or residue from our hands on the glass surface. That way it sticks really well. And then we can go ahead and put our sticker paper onto our mat. And I really like to use the brayer for this because I don't want to drag it over top of the sticker paper. I just want it to go smoothly. So the brayer is perfect for this. Now we have one more step before we put this through the Cricut, and that's to apply our matte laminate sheet. So I have the StarCraft Matte UV Laminate Ink jet printable adhesive vinyl. Long word, great product. And I'm just gonna pull out a sheet of this, and you know what? I can see already that we have cut this up because we've probably done this for prior projects, and I'm just gonna use a piece of this to put over my print and then cut area. So like you can see, I don't even need this full area. So I'm just gonna trim off what I don't need, and really that's still giving us a little bit of wiggle room. I'm gonna pull this off, and I'm gonna lay this down using the taco method. So I'm gonna turn it sideways. I'm gonna bend right here in the middle and then lay it down that way. Okay, and once that's down, I'm just gonna bray over top of it. And then let's go back in Design Space and pick our cut settings. Okay, so it's gonna say set base material. We're going to browse all materials, and I'm just gonna type in sticker. There's a few different sticker paper options. For today's video, we're gonna be using the printable sticker paper in white. I'll select done, and we are going to apply more pressure. Now, if you were just printing labels without the laminate on top of them, you would stick with a default pressure. But since we have the laminate sheet on top of our printable vinyl, I'm gonna select more pressure. That way we get all the way through and it cuts nice and clean. We're using a fine point blade today, and we can go ahead and load our mat in the Cricut. So before I remove this from the mat, I'd like to make sure that it cut all the way through, and I'm just taking a weeding tool, and you can see it's very obviously came up off of the backer. So I'm gonna go ahead and unload this from the Cricut. I'm gonna flip this over and remove it from the mat. And then we can really, we can remove this completely like this. And normally, you all, I would print a bunch of labels at once. Like, I would recommend doing these in bulk. I just wanted to give you all the visual of just having one. I didn't want to overwhelm with too many designs. So this is just our one sticker. I'm going to pull this off. And then we obviously have our sticker right here. And it feels so thick and so good. And what I'm going to do is lay a burnishing tool right here. And I'm gonna lay our little bottle that we've already cleaned and is dried, and we can apply this to the front of our bottle. Now you can kind of do the taco method here to make sure it's completely smoothed out. And then if you want to, you can even take your burnishing tool and go on top of it to make sure it is really down. One last thing I want to do is take this to the sink and see if it runs when we put the water on top of it. So as you can see, it is super, super waterproof. And even before this video, I really wanted to test out which sticker papers work the best for me. So I've got a little bit of different examples here, and the paper looks crazy because I literally ran these underwater testing them. So the first one I did was the HTV Ront just by itself. So this is the same sticker paper that we just made the label with, except I ran water over it. There's no laminate sheet on top of this one though. So you can see pretty good. This one got it the worst. It's just kind of bled and like doesn't look that great. So I wouldn't recommend just putting the HTV Ront on there willy-nilly. I feel like it needs that laminate sheet to protect it from the water. This was the Zaccodo mat without anything on top of it. This is just the Zaccodo mat printed, and really it was not that bad. I had a little slip up right here and a couple maybe right here, but it wasn't terrible. And these labels are so good. The sticker paper just feels such good quality. These are going to be great for when you're labeling things in your pantry, like crackers and chips and oats and things like that. because they're not really coming into contact with any wet surfaces. I love the results of the mat, so I thought, you know what, if I really truly want to make this extremely waterproof, I can put that UV laminate on top of it. And so that's what I did here. I did run water over this, and these look phenomenal. The matte paper prints really well. I would honestly say the matte prints better quality than the glossy sticker paper prints. But as far as waterproofing goes, the laminate sheet came through on the matte paper as well as the glossy paper. So we really, really love using that UV laminate for when we're waterproofing our stickers. And then this is the Zakoto glossy paper, and it did really well. It did significantly better than the HTV Ronc glossy paper on its own. I did run this one under the water as well, and I had pretty good results. So what I want to know now is which one was your favorite? Which technique do you feel like is foolproof? For me, it's going to be using the matte sticker paper with the laminate on top. I just feel like that's going to give me the best results every single time. If you all love this print then cut project, make sure to check out our channel. We have tons of material covering print then cut with your Cricut. We would love to teach you all a little bit more and share all of our knowledge with you. Here at Makers Gonna Learn, we really love to share inspiration, motivation, and education. And if you didn't know, we are a membership-based crafting community. So we would love for you all to be a part of that community with us. If you're interested in membership, we've dropped a link below for you, and you can also just hit the subscribe button. So every time that we post, you will be notified. We will see you all in the next video. Bye.